What up, YouTube? What's good to all the viewers? No flashy intros today. The subject is a rather dark one, and let's talk about what happened in Kemerovo, Russia. And first and foremost, good health and spiritual development and wisdom to everyone who's going to watch this video. But yeah, what really happened in Kemerovo, Russia? Now this video is going to go up sometime after the incident. I didn't want to, with everything going on in the mass media, with everything that's going on, obviously, with the families of the victims and the victims themselves, I didn't want to be one of those people that jump on social networking and start, stating my opinion of whatnot. But first and foremost, I guess second of most now, I would like to urge everyone and ask everyone, especially in America, if you weren't aware of this, keep these families in your prayer. In your prayers, keep these souls in your prayers. And I send many prayers and hugs and much warm energy again to the families of the victims, countless victims. They need it right now. And just because we're in America, let's not think, oh, this is something that happened God knows where. Yes, it did happen in Russia. Yes, it was, to us Americans, some city in far off Russia, on the Asian side of Russia. But we have to remember the most important thing, that this is our planet, which means this is our home, which also means that this is happening at our house, in our home, in our backyard. So anyone who's going to watch it, please keep the families in your prayers. Please keep again the souls of the victims in your prayers. Of course, prove to me that you're alive. We're gonna bring you the closest to the truth. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows the exact story? But I'm gonna bring you the closest to the truth, based on what I heard, based on what I think, and we'll wrap it up with spiritual talk, as we always do. For those of you that don't know, again, Kemerovo is a city. It's the capital of a province of Oblast, Kemerovo in Russia. And if you were gonna picture on the map where it is, I would say, because Russia is so vast, so huge, I would say it's, fairly, I could say that it's like central Russia, south central Russia. And then if you can imagine that part of the world, and just imagine that city not too far from the borders of like Mongolia and Kazakhstan. I mean, it's not too close, but again, considering the size of Russia, that would be the best way that you can imagine. Now, of course, these days you can Google it, you can look it up, and you'll see it. But a fire went off in the mall. The mall was called Zimняя Vishnya, which in English translated the winter cherry. it's not exactly winter cherry, because I mean that those are the translations that I've seen online. But vishnya is, it's like a cherry, but I guess in North America we don't have that kind of tree. I mean, at least I haven't found it. Getting off topic a little bit, but my heart is overtaken from what happened, because again, officials are not bringing out any true information. People are hurt. Children are dead. They're reporting 64 deaths. So, of course, the same day that the incident happened, Vladimir Putin comes out and, he has a little meeting, a little gathering with the other officials, a little round table. And, they start discussing what has happened and why it has happened. Of course, Putin himself looks distraught, obviously. We don't even know if, people that do know anything, we don't even know if it's the real Putin. I'm going to have a video on that, because I do believe there are many Vladimir Putins as of now. And who the heck knows where's the real one. But besides that, and Vladimir Putin asks one of the officials, first one of the officials, he's reporting on the incident to Vladimir Putin, and issues come up, and one was the fire alarm itself, or the call for help in that mall. Now, mind you, it's a big mall. Just imagine an American mall, a mall with movie theaters inside the mall. And so the official says that the call for help in the mall was turned off a week prior to the incident happening. No fire alarms. Fire alarms were turned off. And then he says something that just blew my mind. He says, we've looked into reports, and from the way it looks now is that supposedly the building wasn't even safe enough to be housed in a mall. Yeah, and in America and in Western countries, I'm not gonna say civilized, because I have a whole other theory on what true civilized means. But in European countries and American countries, in America, it sounds crazy, right? It sounds absolutely. There's an inspector that comes every few months or whatever it is, to come even check on every house if the fire alarms are on and things like that. So we can't even imagine it here. But from someone that was raised in post-Soviet Ukraine, I could tell you that something like that is very possible. I understand it's 2018, and that's a whole other conversation. We should be up to date, even in Russia. But okay, alarms were turned off, which huge suspect. Call for help turned off, huge suspect. The anti-fire, I don't know. This is what they're reporting on, anti-fire. Now I'm thinking the sprinkles or whatever, but that was turned off. People couldn't get to fire extinguishers. All this sounds horrible, but the dude flat out, one of the officials, and this was recorded on Channel 1 in Russia. The channel is called Russia 1, which literally means Russia 1. It's a news channel. The whole country's watching it. The dude comes out, one of the officials, I don't remember his name, but he flat out looks at Vladimir Putin and says, and mind you, again, this was the same day that the incident happened, so they didn't even start looking into it deeply, but already he can definitely say that the building wasn't even construction safe. They shouldn't even have been allowed to have a mall. Sounds crazy, right? Sounds insane. Of course, again, that official himself looks all messed up. So Vladimir Putin asks him, how long is it going to take for the full report to come out on the safety of the building and what went on with the alarms and everything like that being turned off? Not even on the autopsies and things like that, but just on the safety of the building. How long is it going to take for the full report to come out? This blew my mind. The official looks back at Vladimir Putin and says, 5 to 6 months. This is when I say, again, please keep the victims' families in your hearts. Can you imagine hearing something like that? God forbid, and I can't stress this enough. I keep repeating this. The way we should be looking at the world and at other people as, that is me. Someone else's children are my children. But the way we always think is, well, this is happening somewhere far. And yeah, I might feel sad about it for a minute, but that's about it. I go on with my daily routines. The next 5 days from now. But just imagine, God forbid, imagine it happened. I'm not going to say to you, but imagine it happens close to home. And life is like that, man. We don't feel it until it happens close to home. Just imagine. Children, I mean, it must be the greatest grief to bury children. Young ones. Kids as young as 5, 6, 10, 11 died in that fire. The death toll report is 64. And we're going to get to that in a second. But just imagine for a second. And at that point, if, of course, your kids are not going to be brought back. You can't, no official, no money in the world, nothing can bring your child back. But at least you want some damn answers, right? You want some answers. I'd want some answers. And the officials come on, Russia 1, and flat out say it's going to take 5 to 6 months just to find out if the building was safe and why the alarms were so suspiciously turned off a week prior. And I stress suspiciously because the head directors and managers and of the mall, they knew about this. Just imagine, again, send out your prayers, send out warm energy. Trust me, it goes far. Fill your heart with love and send it out. It might be in Russia, it might be far. But this is happening in our home. These are our children dying. These are our future leaders. You never know. Some of those kids might have cured AIDS one day. Some of those kids might have saved lives, countless lives one day. Might have discovered the end to world poverty. Sounds far-fetched? Not really. Not really, because this is the way we should be looking at it. So, that's what officially happened, right? Let's talk about what unofficially happened. Now, again, this is what I have heard, and I'm just bringing this to the Western English-speaking and American audiences, and the audiences have proved to me that you're alive. Or if you're new to this, we always bring you the closest thing to the truth. Especially with incidents like this. Now, just imagine, again, there were movie theaters inside the mall, and I think it was 2 theaters inside that mall. I guess 2 screen rooms, whatever you had, one movie theater with 2 screen rooms or whatever. Each screen room, each theater supposedly holds more than 100 people. I mean, it's, you know, up to date. Again, alarms aren't up to date. The mall itself reportedly unsafe. The building, the structure itself, but yet the movie theaters are up to date. The money's up to date, right? So the report goes, I won't pull it up because it was in Russian anyway, but a teenage kid, I don't know exactly how old he was, but a teenager, came to watch a movie with his friend, and a few minutes before the fire, fully started, the kid had his younger brother with him, 5 years old, and the younger brother wanted to use the bathroom. So, the teenage kid left his friend and took his 5-year-old brother to the bathroom. Mind you, the movie started. And so they go to the bathroom. The little kid does his business again. Brings my eyes to tears, but again, send out your prayers and your love to this kid and all the other kids. So the kid takes his brother to the bathroom. The 5-year-old kid does his business, and they start sensing smoke. So the first reaction of that teenage kid is to text his friend, like, there's smoke, something's going on. He texts his friend, but then realizes to rush back to the movie theater, to the screen room, or whatever. They rush back, and the doors are locked. The doors are locked. Again, each screen room, each theater housed more than 100 people. So, at that time, there were more than 100 people in each theater. So the kid and his little brother, they rush back. The doors at this point are closed. Again, mind you, this is, I won't say exactly, but this was minutes before the fire actually erupted. The teenage kid and his little brother, they start screaming for his friend, especially the teenage kid.